Why is curling such a passion for Canadian farmers? We think we know. In farming and curling, the idea is the same. It's about friends and family, teamwork, using the right tools, and getting it done under pressure. That's why New Holland and Pioneer Hybrid are proud to support Curling Canada, helping to grow the game we love. From your team at New Holland and Pioneer Hybrid, here's to success in the field and fun in the rink.
Every day you go new places. A small change in how you do things, or moving your things to a whole new town, or many things to many towns all at once. No matter how small the move, it can be a big leap from where you are now. You've got it in you to go new places. So do we. We go there every day. We're here to help you move to places on the map, in the mind, in the heart, or all three.
Go new places with AMJ Campbell. Contact us at 888-AMJ-MOVE or amjcampbell.com.
I believe hard work and honest sweat are the building blocks of a person's character.
I believe farming nurtures the close family ties that make life rich in ways money can't buy.
I believe that true happiness comes from watching your crops ripen in the field, your children grow tall in the sun, your whole family feel the pride that springs from their shared experience.
I believe in farming because it makes all this possible. Long before the snow begins to melt, planning for the seeding season is underway. Start seeding off strong by using the right drill for the job. New Holland's P2082 disc drill precisely and consistently places seed and fertilizer for rapid nutrient uptake, and it does it all in one pass. Experience equal and even emergence through the innovation of New Holland. To learn more, visit your local New Holland dealer.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 2019 Recharge with Milk Men's Ontario Tankard and Women's Ontario Scotties Tournament of Hearts. Brought to you by Curl On and Title Sports Live. We are at the Woolwich Memorial Centre in Elmira, Ontario. My name is Mary Chilvers and I am joined here by my co-host Danielle Inglis. Good afternoon, Danielle.
Good afternoon, Mary.
So on our feature sheet this afternoon, representing the Royal Canadian Curling Club is Team Holly Duncan. Their opponent from the Ottawa Curling Club is Team Rachel Homan. We're just going to have a quick look at the standings for this draw. We've got Team Homan at the top of the standings with a 5-1 record right now. Team Duncan and Murphy both at 4-2. Harrison Tippin at 3-3. Horton and all 2-4, and at the bottom of the heap this week is Team Brandwood at 1-5.
And just to have, while we're looking at the standings here, the implications right now. So 4 losses is out. So Team Horton, Team Ald, Team Brandwood are here just to play spoiler. Team Tippin and Team Harrison currently on the ice. Sheet B beside us will keep you updated on that game throughout, but the loser of that game will be out of the competition. So they're fighting for their lives in that game. Now at the top, Team Homan is guaranteed to be in the playoff spot. Now where they will land in the playoff is all dependent on the finish here. Could be a potential for a 3-way tie between Team Homan, Team Duncan, and Team Murphy if Team Duncan pulls out a win in this game and Team Murphy pulls out a win against Horton. They are also on the ice, and we will keep you apprised of that. Now, Team Harrison, the winner of Team Harrison, Team Tippin, will need some help from either Team Duncan or Team Murphy in order to get into the playoffs. They will need one of those teams to lose this draw to force a tie-breaking situation. So lots going on in the standings here, potential for a tiebreaker. And again, just a reminder, it is the top 3 teams that make it in. Top team goes on to the final with the teams number 2 and 3 playing in a semi. So many big games out here today, Mary.
Yeah, I'd have to say the biggest game is the one with Harrison and Tippin. Absolutely.
And an update for you, if you're watching on the screen, you'll notice that Team Duncan's lineup is looking a little bit different today. Now, the official lineup today will be Skip, Laura Hickey. Karen Sagal will move up to the vice position. Second will be Cheryl Kraviazik, and at lead they've brought in Alice Holyoke. So Holly, as we mentioned on previous broadcasts, she's about 6 months pregnant right now. She, just to be safe, she went in, she was experiencing a bit of pain and went to the doctor just to be safe. So we've heard so far that all seems to be well, but of course you don't want to take precautions, and the team would like us to say, of course, your life, your family comes before curling.
Absolutely, yeah.
And they're lucky to bring in Alice Holyoke, who is quite an accomplished player, and we'll talk more about her later. And a team that needs no introduction, but just in case, we have Team Homan. They represent the Ottawa Curling Club. Skip Rachel Homan, third Emma Miskew, second Joanne Courtney, and lead Lisa Weigel. And Cheryl Kraviazik, she's been one of their longtime fifth players. Actually, she has accompanied them at the Skies Tournament of Hearts, also the Olympic trials. So as you can see, they're having a little chat, little joke around during the announcements.
So we're a little bit later getting underway here. But yeah, you know, speaking of the situation with Holly, everybody wishes her nothing but the best. I'm sure everything is fine, but like you say, Danielle, and it's really tough. Like, she's 6 months pregnant, so to come out here, it's a grueling schedule. You know, she is the skip. Yes, there's not as much sweeping, but it is mentally grueling for a person that's not pregnant, let alone 6 months pregnant. So this could just be, you know, something. She's just maybe exhausted. You don't know. So
yeah. So and the way the rule works is that you cannot bring a player into the competition who is currently played down to get to provincials. So any former, we're sitting here with quite a few former competitors in the crowd who compete down for provincials, but none of us were options, only because we had played down for that. That's the way the rule reads. But fortunately, Alice Holyoke was sitting in the crowd cheering on big sister Grace Holyoke, who plays with Team Murphy, and got the call in. And a little bit about Grace too. As mentioned, I promised I would fill you in on the details. So if you recognize the name, would be because she was just competing at the 2019 New Holland Canadian Juniors. She was playing lead for Taya Coburn. They were representing Ontario, of course, and to get through the Ontario U21 provincials, they went 4-1 after the round robin, went through a tiebreaker semi, and then beat Team Bernard 9-5 in the final. Now, when they hit nationals, they had a little bit of a struggle, more than they would have liked to, and they ended up at 2-4 in Pool A, which dropped them into the seeding pool, where they ended up finishing off with a 4-5 record. And they're disappointed, but they put on a brave face the whole time. They represented Ontario very well, so all of Ontario can be very proud of them. So lots of experience coming from Alice.
absolutely. So it looks like Team Duncan got the hammer here in the first end. Laura Hickey drawing the pin on her draw to the button.
Line's good.
So it's a little bit difficult, Danielle, when you have to shake up a lineup like this, and especially when the skip is the one that can't be on the ice. So we'll see how these girls fare here.
I feel for all of them. I feel for Holly because she would never take herself off the ice unless it was absolutely necessary, and of course, her health is paramount.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
And we've got a good supportive team behind. Always helps. And we already have our first Twitter question come in here, Mary.
Oh my, that was quick.
So the question is, all pregnancies are different. I've seen 2 close up, but will Homan be affected in the Briar and maybe Worlds? I think he meant Scotties, but Scotties and Worlds.
Right. From what I am hearing, she is due in June, and she does plan, I believe they are the team that is going to be playing in the World Cup of Curling, which is in May.
Pretty bad spot.
Yeah, so she's decided she will not play in that. Well, she would be 8 months pregnant.
Yeah, I don't even think you can fly at that point.
No.
Not for the World Cup. For the Scotties, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're A-okay for that. They wouldn't be playing down for this if they couldn't be. The Women's Worlds, as long as all goes fine with the 2 pregnancies, they should also be fine, is the word on the street. But yeah, as Mary mentioned, they've qualified for some late competition there, and that would be a little tough. It doesn't seem feasible at this point.
Who would really want to? 8 months pregnant. That would be tough.
Grace Holyoke had great line on her, or come around Alice Holyoke came around, had great line, just not quite the weight. So this opens the door for Joanne to sink a good one into the top 4.
Walk, you're heavy, walk, you're heavy. Wait only.
We're going to keep you updated on all the scores out here this afternoon. We've got quite a good crowd here, Danielle, for a afternoon game.
It is amazing.
Yeah, I think tonight will be really busy.
Yeah, if you're coming tonight, make sure you come early to get a parking spot.
Oh, I know. I had to park way back last night.
Yeah, last night there was a crowd of over 1,000 here. And of course we had Epping Howard on our feature sheet. So Cheryl to follow that draw in, but it will be a wide and heavy. It's the tough part too with the curl, that trying to factor that in, and the question has been asked, why have we seen so many rocks go through the house, particularly on the women's side? A little bit of that is just due to trying to factor the curl into the weight, and just honestly, some of the players just haven't picked it up, to be quite honest. And then on the men's side, with they have such strong sweepers that it's really rare to see a rock go through the house. If anything, you see it come up light, which sometimes achieves about the same thing, but it looks much worse when a rock just goes flying through the house. And a nice come around here from Joanne Courtney. It's blocking off that draw path.
I just couldn't hear a wake call.
Should mention too,
The only thing I heard was 6.
so we've got that
So I
lineup
just said no
shake-up
line 'cause I
going
wasn't
on
sure where it
with
was.
Team Duncan, and most viewers probably wouldn't know Laura as a skip. I've been playing against these girls forever, and remember back when Laura used to skip in Bantam and junior days. So she has had skipping experience, may not have been recently, but she does know how to call a game. All right, got some granite moving, opened up the center, and left some corner guards in play. Still a ways to go to get in there for shot, and it will allow Team Homan to throw a guard on the rock in the top of the rings. Mission mostly accomplished.
So interesting, Danielle, that they have chosen to put their lead, Karen Sagal, up to third instead of moving Cheryl Kriviezik up to third and the lead up to second.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, I actually played with Karen back in mixed in 2007, was it? And we I threw vice rocks, and she moved up to call the game along with the skip. So she's quite familiar with that. That's her comfort zone. She's very decisive. And I think that having that decisiveness in the vice position is pretty important. Not to say I'm not decisive, but in the case where I played with her. But yeah, she just has a...
What kind of weight?
She's a good fit in that position as well. And that's what's kind of neat when you have a team like this with such experienced players that you can shake it up and put into every position. But yeah, Mary, you're right. It's a very unusual decision.
Right. Although I find the second position, not everyone can play that position. That's a real key position. You got to be able to throw the high, hard one, making a lot of peels.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
They will catch the guards, spin their rock in. Maybe not hitting all the shots quite perfectly yet, but at least they're getting something out of almost every shot they've thrown this end so far.
Yeah, so Rachel's going to have a look at this. Wants to hit this yellow rock. Important where she ends up rolling is what she's thinking here, I think.
Yep.
If they can tuck about half under that center line guard, that would be a pretty perfect spot and make it really tough for Team Duncan to come in under. Or should we be calling them Team Hickey this game?
Maybe we should.
Well, the other word is that Holly may come back in at some point this game.
Oh, okay.
Depending on
All the way, all the way.
if she returns, if all is well. Oh, what a perfect roll. But we'll keep you apprised on that situation as we see it happening. That roll could not have been more perfect. Well done by Emma
I didn't
Miskew.
want to open up like the double and roll, so I just aim it and overroll.
Oh, Laura's looking at the draw. I think she should open things up. I guess she could get one back to that rock in the back 8 foot.
Well, don't say sorry.
I think the
Lisa got to center line.
The only issue is that even if they play the draw, that rock biting the top 4 is still available for a slash in from Rachel. So they actually want, if they were to draw this, they actually want to draw it right in behind that rock biting the top 4 foot. Okay, and okay, since they're doing that, they've selected the shot that Mary and I like a little bit better, which is the run. Clear up some stuff, because as a skip, you've also got to think about what you're leaving yourself. And
well, that's the thing. If they don't make that draw, she might not have a shot for one. So they want to just clear the front here a bit.
Hard. Hard.
And unfortunately did not make that. I believe we have the ice looks like it's curling a bit more today, Mary.
Yeah, we noticed that in the morning game. It definitely is, or the rocks are, should I say.
Yeah, we've got more curl, of course, throughout the week. Adjustments are made to try to keep the curl up. It was starting to lose a bit of curl last night. I mean, still great curl out there, but just always try to keep it consistent. So sometimes when you just make a little adjustment to the rocks and brings it right back up to the curl, but seeing that and just have to recognize that all players know about it and they have to adjust.
It's a lot quicker. Like, what's T here? 15? Oh, really?
So this is a guard called by Rachel. Would like to split the center line. Front end feels that this spot is up to speed.
Not in. Yep, yep. We can tap if you want.
It's about a 14-8 coming in here.
Whoa, whoa.
Did come in, but even so where they put it, it's still blocking, especially with that overlap for the Duncan Hickey team.
Yeah, go firm. Cheryl's did curl up at the end. So firm weight, let's try and clear that front up. Yeah, yours did finish up at the end, so just stay close.
Clearing the front.
Yeah. You have to hit it just a little bit on your side.
Need to open things up a little bit high side on this rock would help Laura have some sort of a shot really on her last. She's not looking at much right now.
Yeah, needs to make this one.
A big scrub right out of the hand.
Hard! Hard!
Well, they removed one, but cleared up the middle part. If Rachel, though, puts it right beside on the opposite side of the center line, though, this is going to really close off the scoring area.
Yeah.
Same thing. A little tighter line. Yeah, full 8. Right beside ours.
So Rachel's just going to put one on the other side of the rings there,
line,
even
so,
with the
keep
one
your
that's
rim down.
on the top 8, making it extremely difficult for Laura to get any kind of shot in there to score a point.
So about the same weight needed.
Tap it then, yep. Yep, tap it. Yep.
Change of plans, going for the tap now.
Hard, Lise.
So they had great weight on that one, just didn't finish up for them the way they were thinking it would. So this is a draw to get a good chunk of the 4 foot. Laura Hickey facing 4 bluestones on her last.
Do you think draw the button speed?
Yeah, I mean, it's at least given Laura a very makeable shot as an out here, but she unfortunately still is drawing against 4 in the first end. She did draw the pin on her draw to the button for the hammer, so let's hope she can do that again. Last rock for Laura Hickey.
Lots of line.
Sweepers are on this right out of her hand.
Looks like the line is good for this one. Just needs to grab a good chunk of the 4 foot. 14 seconds.
Hard, keep going, hard! Hard! Hard!
That just hit the brakes at the end there, and it looks like it will be a steal of 3 for Team Homan. Yeah, I thought that was looking good as it was coming in there, Mary.
It did from our angle, yeah. But the sweepers were on it right out of her hand, so.
Yeah, well, even the time difference, I mentioned I had a 14.8 on Rachel's that came into the full top 12, whereas that was timed at a 14, and they were sweeping it to just make full 12. So just a bit of a different spot, a little further out. Looking across our sheets, as promised, we'll keep you updated. Over on sheet 1, we have Team Ald taking on Team Brandwood, and it was a 3 for Team Ald in the first end. A do-or-die game over on sheet B, Team Harrison and Tippin. Team Harrison had the hammer and elected to blank the first. Team Murphy scoring 1 against Team Wharton. And Team Ballston up 1-0 over Team Durrell. And if you're just joining our broadcast and you're noticing a bit of a different lineup here for Team Duncan, Holly is just had been experiencing some pain and wanted to go to the doctor just to make sure, have it checked to make sure everything was okay. Health comes before curling. So a bit of a shift here. We've got Laura stepping into the skip position, Karen into vice, second Cheryl, and they've also picked up Alice Holyoke, who's in the audience. She was watching her sister Grace, who plays for Team Murphy. So we have her in at lead.
Guys, you gotta go.
I don't think she ever thought she'd be out there curling in this game right now, Danielle.
I don't think so. Well, she had about an hour and a half-ish notice. But again, we if you're just joining us, we gave a little bit of a bio on her at the beginning, but she was just competing at the Canadian Junior Championships in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. Just got home from that. It was Monday or Tuesday they got home. So she's been here all week, and again, you can't take a competitor who has already played down for this, so she fit the bill. Someone who's already familiar with playing on arena ice conditions. They were out in Prince Albert. Though that being said, she does toss the guard through the house. I mean, a little bit of nerves too. She's playing with the defending champions. So yeah. There are many things that factor in there. Plus, one of the things that some adult players don't recognize, but certainly I think this is lesser known juniors, when you're throwing inside out, it tends to be faster, even at the beginning of the game, right off the hopper. So just having to factor that in and really slow down that kick at the beginning.
What position did Alice play on the U21 team?
She played lead.
She played lead, okay.
She played lead, for Taya Coburn. So she's familiar with sweeping a good 10-end game, throwing some lead rocks. Though, of course, the only time she's gotten to see this ice has been a couple rocks in practice, about 4 rocks in practice, and then thrown into the game here.
Yeah.
So good on her for stepping into that position, and I know she's pretty excited about it. And we do have the one men's sheet out on the ice today, Durrell and Ballston. Situation over on the men's side. So that 5 losses puts you right out of it. So Team Ferris, Team Ballston, Team Retchless, Team Dow, Team Bice, all out of the competition. Team Durrell could still has playoff potential, depending on how this game goes. Of course, we'll know everything tonight. Leading the pack has been Team McDonald. They are currently undefeated, and they have secured their spot. Both McDonald and Epping have secured their spot in the 1-2 game tonight. They're playing each other tonight as well, and essentially what they'll be playing for, if McDonald wins, they get hammer and color. So they get to choose rocks and they get the hammer. And Epping is playing for, if they win, they would get choice of hammer or color.
Tough call.
So that's essentially what they're playing with there. Team Howard, they're at 6-2 right now in the standings. They are guaranteed 3rd place, so they would be in the 3-4 game. And then joining them would either be Team Thomas at 5-3 or Team Durrell currently at 4-4. So just depending how this game goes, as mentioned, Team Durrell is playing Team Ballston, who's just here to play spoiler, and Team Thomas is playing Team Retchless in tonight's draw.
Well, the good news here for Laura Hickey and company is they do have a corner guard up here. Rachel has a couple of rocks in the rings, but they're over to the side a bit. So she'll have some chances here to score a couple points.
And the good news is because they have that one in the side, it's forcing Team Homan to make a play on it. Emma dropping out, no more room to sweep. They've got the hit and nose, so well done for Joanne.
Big surprise there, Danielle.
Yeah, those are the kind of shots they're expected to make.
Yeah.
But where it landed though, Mary, because you can see it's buried a little bit behind there. Team Duncan, Team Hickey can actually come freeze on that blue rock right now. or it can at least act as a little bit of backing. Again, ignoring what's going on in the middle. Just need to get something buried.
You know, even if Cheryl throws this one back 8 would probably be better, because it's going to be a pretty easy run back for Homan if she gets this one, tries to play the freeze here.
And this is one of the fastest spots in the ice, too, that we've seen all week.
If I were them, I'd be taking this back a bit.
That's what Rachel's there for.
Yeah.
And it did get buried, just as you predicted, Mary. So they're talking about a just beyond backline type weight to bump that Yellowstone up, and Rachel mentioned it's okay if they clip the guard and roll in, they'd at least expose the rock behind. Looks like it's got a little bit more weight.
Whoa. We're close. Just Lise. Yep.
About hack weight on it, but that will do the trick. And well done by Emma Miskew. The way the ice curls, especially inside out here, Mary, it's very difficult to bury a rock that can't be accessed.
Yeah, it is, and that's it's a pretty tight corner guard, and they could still access the rock that was behind it. So
Yeah.
So Karen being asked here now to play the hit.
Better. But they could have swept it through.
Whoa. Close. Yeah, Cheryl. Yeah, Cheryl. Yeah, Cheryl. Hard, Cheryl. Hard, Cheryl. Little roll over. Little roll.
Hit in a pinch of a roll. Rachel's team doesn't need to stick around right now. Emma's throwing the rock. They've got 3 in play. They're in a pretty good position for at least a force. But if Team Duncan can get something going, particularly behind the guard or with a freeze, they could still get a deuce. Or, I mean, there's still 3 rocks left, Mary. With a miss from Team Homan, there could even be a 3 still in play, optimistically. And just as I say that, we have a jam on the rock in the back.
We're second. We're second.
And those are the kind of shots that
I like nose.
Team Duncan needs.
Control.
So as Laura mentioned, that rock is second shot back there, so they're going to play the hit on the blue to avoid the jam at the back as well, but they would like to roll a little bit to the right-hand side.
Whoa. Stay close. Stay close. Yep. Yep. Hard. 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 Hard.
Took a bit of a right-hand turn, but they are saying 1 and 2. Rachel will now play the double.
Right where I let go, I think.
So these are the types of shots we've seen over and over again made by Rachel Homan. Loves these shots. So good at them.
Yep. Whoa. Yes. Whoa, whoa. Hard, Em.
And with a good sweep by Emma, that will head out of the rings.
You know, on club curling ice with older rocks, Danielle, that second rock would never have gotten out of the house. But because these rocks are so lively, the striking bands, she was able to sweep that out.
Also, yeah, not only the striking bands, but also the ice itself.
Yes.
And how I was about to use the word clean, but how nice and fresh it is.
Yes.
Sometimes frost builds up around the back of the rings in club play, especially later on in the ends, and rocks just sort of hit and then die as they're rolling.
Yeah.
A little bit better than full 12.
Here, still chance for a skipper's deuce for Team Duncan.
Yeah, Duncan / Hickey.
Yeah. We're going to be saying that the entire game, unless Holly is able to join back up. Again, Holly just out for this game, or at least part of this game, just a quick doctor's appointment, make sure everything's okay, and we hope that she will be back and that all will be okay.
You can always tell when the sweepers are walking behind the rock that it's probably a little heavy. Again, going to the wing there, Danielle, you can take so much more weight off of that as opposed to coming outside in. It's so quick to the wings.
The other thing, too, to remember is to try to throw it to your sweepers, too. And that's a pretty good rule of thumb.
I'd rather go up there and block this off. Okay, give her this again. I think she's gonna hit it. Okay. I think we could go here if we want. That's all. We could go here, half buried. Sure. This is where Cheryl took. Okay.
So this is a matter of what Rachel wants to see Laura throw on her last. She could put her right dead center and make her hit against 3.
I'll keep it there.
Or she can put this one behind the guard and force Laura into drawing against 3.
Exactly, and by putting it behind here, she's saying she'd rather see Laura draw. I mean, part of that too, Laura has actually, the good news for Laura is that you mentioned earlier, she put it on the pin when throwing a draw exactly to the spot she's going to have to. But the difference between that shot and this shot is that if Rachel sinks one here, she'd be drawing against 3. So it just puts a little bit more pressure on a situation where you're already feeling pressure not in your regular position.
Yeah.
I think it's all there.
So I think smart decision by Rachel.
Hard, Joe.
And pretty much where they wanted it. Would like to a bit deeper, but in the end it's having Laura draw against 3.
Yeah.
Rachel says she doesn't like her rock, I just overheard. So you might see a little bit of a rock switching coming right up. Will be Laura Hickey needing a good chunk of the 8-foot to pick up a single. Again, facing a couple Team Homan stones with her last. And sweepers casually cleaning this off the start. Needs to stop in the 8-foot.
Looks like a good one here.
And it's going to slide, and it looks like it's going to be a steal of 1 for Team Homan. They lead 4-0 over Team Duncan. Now, of course, as promised, we're updating you across the other 4 games on the ice. Starting over on Sheet E, we have Team Durrell, Team Ballston all tied up at 1-all. Also tied 1-all, Team Horton and Team Murphy after 2. Team Tippin in an all-important loser of the game is out. Winner is still alive in the competition. It's Team Tippin with an early 3-0 lead after popping 3 in the second end. Also with a 3-0 lead is Team Ald over Team Brandwood on sheet A.
Yeah, I'll take the 3.
And throughout the game, if you have any questions for us, please feel free to get a hold of either Mary and I on Twitter. I'm at Inglis Danielle.
And I'm at Mary Chilvers, and I actually have a question here, Danielle.
Give it to her.
This is from my buddy Lyle out west, and he's wondering, why is there no fifth players allowed at curl-on provincial playdowns?
Well, actually, there are. It is allowed to bring a fifth player. There's no spare pool here. There is a fifth player allowed, but you do have to declare that. And Team Duncan had not declared a fifth player there. Of course, the trouble is, and if you were with us earlier in the broadcast, when I explained their player selection, is that you can't take a player who's already competed down in the Scotties playdowns. They cannot be your fifth player. So your fifth player would have had to have been with you essentially all season and be someone who wasn't willing to or who wasn't able to play essentially a full season. A 5-man team, of course, you only have 4 on the ice at once. Mm-hmm. So that's the situation there. So when it comes down to playdowns, and again, Holly wasn't having any trouble earlier on in her pregnancy or even throughout the week until about last night, was feeling a bit of pain and just, again, needing to get it checked out. The health of herself and the baby come first before curling. So it actually is in the rules there, but they don't have a fifth player named, and it ended up being a little bit more last minute today that they figured they would need a player.
Yeah, most of these teams here do not have a fifth player because, well, you know, a fifth player can come here for a week and never ever play, and they have jobs that they need to go to. Same with coaches, actually. There's actually just a couple of coaches here this week as well.
Okay,
so
that's exactly it. There are very few there are very few quality players who would be willing to just be a fifth on the team.
Yeah.
I mean, the field is shrunk because of exactly what you just said, Mary. To get to the top, you have to play so much harder, practice so much more, and do so much more in order to make the top. And found a few players over the years, most recent years, have left the game or just gone back to curling recreationally simply because of that fact. They're building their families, their careers, and other priorities are taking place. So to find someone who's a fifth player who's not already playing with their own team is quite difficult. We've got a nice corner guard thrown by Alice. Another question we have here from Anne-Marie. Could you re-explain the new turn audible? Is it similar to Plan B? Thanks for Machine Curler. Yes, so that's exactly what it is. It's like a Plan B. So an audible, it's more of a football sports term where they call the audible, so you call the Plan B, and that's exactly what it is. So if partway down the sheet the skip decides this isn't going to work with the initial shot call, it's when call the audible and go for Plan B.
Heavy.
Just to let you all know, I still just say Plan B.
Well, we've got to support our big football game coming up on Sunday.
This is true.
I think my husband would be really proud of me talking about football on curling air right now.
Yeah.
Hope he's listening to this right now. And keep those questions coming. Mary and I are happy to answer everything we can on air.
Yeah, you gotta go for line.
So coming around the corner guard here.
Hard for line. Hard. Hard. Okay, whoa, switch. Yep, hard. Hard finish, hard. Hard. Okay, whoa.
Nice shot there by Cheryl. Maybe a little bit deep, but that's okay. She's got something behind the corner guard, so Rachel will have to deal with the situation. She's just going to peel the guard.
You could see it was poking out the back, but really it wasn't the easiest shot. And you might as well just peel, especially with this score.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
We're calling for the guard to go right back up. They'd like it even a bit tighter than the last one.
Yeah. So combo with the card. Yeah.
The guard called Cheryl Kriviazik for a guard, a halfway tight guard.
Yeah, line's good. Line's good. Just over and off.
And that'll do the trick a little bit higher than they would have liked it to be, but it's now completely covering the rock in the back of the house, and that'll be enough for Rachel to peel it.
Yeah, Rachel could definitely get at that with a little back line weight with the intern, but she's up 4 points, so she's not having any part of that. She's just going to peel the guard.
Hard, Lise. Really hard. Push.
And the hit roll, it will stick around on the side, but mission accomplished. We're throwing another guard. Got another question, this time from Craig Seeley. Can you elaborate on how much less stressful it is to commentate with Mary instead of Pete? You can even say that's a question for me on air.
And I'm glad you read that out loud, because Pete would have done the same, Danielle.
And you know what? He probably appreciates that. Well, you know, Pete is Pete, and he is always so straight up and honest, and you gotta love him for it.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to come out of his mouth, and sometimes that's the beauty. It keeps you on your toes.
For sure.
Okay, lots of line. Lots of line. Okay. All right, you're gonna have to switch. Yep. Okay, well.
Nice looking guard. And that's pretty perfect. You know what, Mary? It's hard to place a guard on this ice so precisely so many times in a row.
Yes.
Just the way it finishes, you really need to finish and sweep it to curl just because of the hard finish on the ice. So well done so far, Team Duncan. And, of course, Team Homan using their wonderful peeling skills. They've been removing it every single time.
So getting a little later in the end here now. So Laura is going to switch gears here.
Yeah, or roll away.
I'm thinking.
Sure. Do you like back 8 weight, back 12? You're tapping back, right? Come. Okay, just back 12 weight.
She could even just freeze to this rock, Danielle, because I'm pretty sure Rachel will just go over and hit the open rock. So she's not going to have any part of that. So if she could just freeze to this one on this shot, let Rachel hit the one over in the wings, and then she could even freeze on it again and then play the little tap, and then Rachel might have a problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly, because you run the risk when you're tapping. If you
Lots of line,
don't make it
roll.
perfectly, then you could leave it open.
Okay.
Even
Flank to
Mary, you
freeze.
mentioned off the top, we all know Rachel loves the big shots, then she makes them quite often. So if you leave it for her, there's a good chance she's going to make it.
This might end up what I called. Just a little over curl there.
Yeah, not pretty great spot there. Though it did leave a double.
Sorry. Yeah, I try to do this. I'm just gonna get in my way if I have to hit that out. If I don't roll it absolutely perfect. Like, this is awful. You could try to do this, and if you roll out this way, okay. Try to get under the float. Okay, I'll throw here at Peel so we can get some action.
Yeah, so I mentioned there is a double on those 2 yellows where it rolled to, though it's not a gimme double. You have to negotiate your own rocks, and if you ever ticket, that would be a disaster. And therefore, that's why Rachel will just peel off the back one, hit the back one.
Roll out's fine. Peel.
Again, it's the scoreboard call. They're up 4-2 at this point.
Come up a little at the end.
So interesting, Danielle. If you look where the broom is for Rachel's hit here, it's actually on the inside of the rock, and she's hoping to peel this out from the outside of the rock.
And there it goes.
She throws. Yeah, she was a little worried about it there, but that whole team, they have a certain throw that they have for their hits where they actually broom themselves tight, slide, I think, inside the target, and then put it out to the target. It's very different from what we're taught, but it sure works for them.
It does, especially when you're playing on arena ice where you see lots of curl. It's not ice that you can ever throw tight or be soft on your release.
Yeah.
And you're just going to lose rocks. So they've adapted to that. They're playing mainly on ice, arena ice that has tons of curl. So that works quite nicely for them.
Okay, touch more ice. Yeah. Yeah, we gotta make sure that we stick around in the.
This will be Laura Hickey's first rock of the third end. They are looking to play a hidden roll on the rock that is right on the top 4. Pretty precise roll needed.
Yep. Close up! Up! Hard! Hard! Hard!
Oh, and they had gone off the rock. Probably should have stayed on it. They managed to say shot, but it's a pretty short run back.
Yeah, I think it will. Okay, do you think if I let go of the same piece? Worst case, if you let it curl up, we can get them all. Right? I think it's a quarter. Yeah,
And
I'd rather do that.
the entire Duncan team is a little bit shaken up in terms of positions. So do say a little bit of sweeping error, line error, but it's the first time Karen's been calling line in I don't know how many games outside of perhaps some games at the Ottawa. So it's a new perspective for each one of these players, and they're hanging in there.
They are.
Can't help but do a little bit of cheerleading for them because, you know, they're the big underdogs in
Yeah,
this
for sure.
game.
So Rachel might leave Laura a double here for 2. She's really throwing this one hard.
Off, Lisa!
She's actually looking for the run double herself.
And that is not what they wanted with the roll out. So now it is an open hit for 2. Control weight hit. Just need to stick around in the rings to get on the board.
Laura just needs to get out to the stick on this one, Danielle, with control weight, because I don't see it running at all.
No, especially because it's so close to the center. As soon as the rock touches or goes over center, it's just almost unmanageable in terms of sweeping. So last rock of the third end Laura Hickey throwing open hip for 2.
Whoa! Whoa!
This is looking nice.
Whoa!
And that will be good for the deuce. So Team Duncan on the board. They do trail Team Homan 4-2 after 3 ends. And across the ice, quick update, we have Team Ballston playing spoiler currently over Team Durrell. Team Ballston is out of the competition, but they have a 4-1 lead over Team Durrell.
2.
We have Team Horton taking on Team Murphy. It is Team Murphy with a 2-1 lead. And in a do or die game between Team Hippen and Team Harrison, Team Tippin steals the single point in end 3 to take a 4-0 lead over Team Harrison.
Okay.
That's been,
Turn to curl now.
say, Mary, that's been one of the
Okay,
biggest
bring it in.
surprises this week for viewers across the board. Team Harrison and their record
all the way in, all
currently,
the way
and
in.
now they're in a position where if they lose this game, they will be out.
Yeah, they've been a little bit up and down this week. I don't know how much those girls have played together. Jacqueline is new to the team this year. The other 3 have played together previously with Ali Flaxey. So yeah, I think a little surprising that they are not further up in the standings at this point.
And they're currently at 3-3, as is Team Tippin. They had 2, even though they're not as high in the standings as most people would have expected them to be, considering they came in as the number 2 seed. They got into provincials by virtue of their CTRS points. They had 2 crucial losses. One was to Team Duncan. It was a bit of a sweeping error at the end. Jacqueline had a draw to the forefoot, and it just ground at the end. And they went to an extra, and it was Holly who pulled it off. Then they had again another extra end loss, this time to Team Homan. Jacqueline had a not an easy hit by any means, but had a hit for the win over Team Homan. Made contact with the rock, but wasn't able to remove it far enough out of the forefoot. So they went to an extra, and you never like to play Team Homan in an extra when Team Homan has the hammer, and you have Lisa Weagle throwing those tech shots, and she made 2 perfect ones, and then it just Peel City, and it was an open hit for Rachel on her last.
5's over. Switch.
The last sheet out here as well, we have Team Ald currently up 3-1 over Team Brandwood. And if you're just tuning in, we had a question on Twitter asking this. Where is Holly? She is just currently, she was experiencing a bit of pain. Again, if you haven't been watching all week, she's about 6 months pregnant right now, and experiencing a bit of pain. Went to the doctor just to get checked out, make sure everything's okay. So she's there right now, and just wasn't able to make the beginning of the game. She may rejoin partway through, but lucky enough, Alice Holyoke, who was the Ontario U21 championship, just came back in from Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. She was able to step into the lineup, and they've rejigged it. So Laura Hickey is throwing skip, Karen Sagal at vice, second Cheryl, and Alice is throwing lead.
We've got a question from Tom. What is a clutch draw?
Clutch draw, it's one you make when you have to. It's a simple and quick answer.
Yes.
A single peel for Joanne Courtney.
Now, I think this is a bit of a mistake here, Danielle. Being down 2 without, I would be more tempted to just put up another center guard, keep Rachel peeling away at those.
I'm guessing this is just a bit of a scared call. They don't want to give up a big end to Team Homan. They're not willing to really go for it this end. Perhaps they're kind of saying they might be happy with Rachel blanking this end and then perhaps trying to get something better going in the next end. In tough position. Switch up the lineup, and they'd like to have keep this a little bit closer in order to manage the situation.
Well, the biggest difference here with the Rachel Homan team versus every other team here is that the Homan team is like, it is a business. This is what they do, 9 months out of the year now? And, you know, it's almost like it's down to a science for these girls. They could finish each other's sentences. They just know exactly what to do. It's very routined. You know, and then, of course, they come up against this poor Duncan team who has had to switch up their players and everything, and really tough. Really tough for the Duncan team, but, you know, really tough for any other team here due to the fact that most other teams here also don't play 9 months out of the year at the level the Rachel plays at.
Yeah, so every team in the field is basically at a deficit before you go in.
Definitely.
To play in.
Yeah.
And again, you can't bring a player into the competition as a fifth or as a spare if they've already competed down at some level for the Scotties. So there are a couple options out in the audience, but they were lucky to find someone who's quite familiar with competition, of course. So,
you know, I was approached, Danielle.
Were ya?
I was.
And? well,
I was approached by the big boss here, asking if I had my equipment here this week. I said yes. Why? Well, we're just looking for some options, and I almost died. I really did. Although I do know the ice sheet C quite well.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, and as I would have been so happy to get out there as well.
Yeah, you were obviously the first choice, but you've competed at the level, so you were not allowed.
No, but I understand a rule's a rule. It's there. It's in writing. So I would have. They still would have been in a deficit even with me skipping. Even though I skip, I haven't skipped these 4 ladies ever.
Yeah.
And I haven't thrown a rock. But as you mentioned, we've been watching Sheet C all week, Mary.
Yeah.
So I'd have at least some sort of an idea of what the ice is doing, which is nice. Now, if I could just throw all the times that we've been getting.
Yeah, that's the
so
key.
really, it's always tough, no matter who they were going to put in the lineup or if they were going to start with 3, whatever it came to. They just a tough situation, but I think they're managing it quite well.
They are. Yes, they are.
And then also, I know we spent a lot of time talking about Team Duncan here, but for Team Homan too, it could be easy for them to just relax a bit in this position, knowing the difficulties that Team Duncan is facing, but they really haven't let off, and the pros that they are have been making all the shots.
Control. Nose.
We've got an open end going on here. So it's Team Homan with the hammer. Yep. Laura Hickey throwing skip rocks.
Whoa, whoa. Yep, yep.
So we've got another question through Twitter, and maybe Mary, you'd like to take this one on. Do you think we will ever see a 2-point shot in curling? For example, covering the pin or button counts for 2 points.
All I can say is I hope not. I think they did one competition. I can't remember what it was called, Danielle, where they had it something like that. Honestly, I can't remember what it was called. It was on TV. Kind of gimmicky. I don't know. I doubt it. Your thoughts?
I was trying to remember that competition too.
Yeah.
Whether it was I think it was a TSN Skins game or something like that. I forget as well. So we've kind of seen it, but I think right now they've just fully introduced the 5-rock rule across all world and national and everything leading to world and national competition, such as the provincial, and that's meant to generate more offense. So I don't think we need more offense in the game currently.
Yeah.
Though the powers that be are constantly looking at new rules, and that's why that rule was tried. And the Grand Slam also tries quite a few rules out to figure what might work best to keep the game interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So not anytime soon is the answer to that.
Right.
Open hit, mission accomplished. So now Team Homan will have a blank attempt coming right up.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah. Got more of the center line, so stay with it.
This is the last rock of the 4th end. Team Homan looking for the blank.
Easy.
Big scrub right off the bat.
Easy. Guys, we're good.
But no need to panic. Guys, we're good. That's what Rachel said, and they are, and that will be for the blanks. So Team Homan maintaining their 4-2 lead and the hammer going into the 5th end. We'll give you an update on the other sheets on the ice. We have Team Horton and Team Murphy playing on sheet D. It's Team Murphy with a 2-1 lead. Actually, sorry, make that a steal 1 for Team Murphy. Just saw that go up on the scoreboard, 3-1 lead. And we have our men's sheet on the ice. Team Ballston was up 4-1 over Team Durrell. Team Durrell picking up their deuce in end 4, so they now trail 3-4.
Halfway.
Team Harrison now on the board in a do-or-die game against Team Tippin, but it's Team Tippin up 4-2 with the hammer going into end 5. Team Ald with a commanding 6-1 lead over Team Brandwood. They've only scored 3s this game, Mary.
Whoa.
Yeah, interesting over there for sure.
3 in the 1st, and then another 3 in the 4th. Now back on our feature sheet, we have Team Duncan taking on Team Homan. And at risk for sounding like a broken record, but we're still getting questions about it. The reason why you're seeing a bit of a shake-up in the lineup on Team Duncan, Holly is about 6 months pregnant, was experiencing a little bit of pain, and she just went to the doctor to get checked out and not able to make the beginning of this game. So they brought in Alice Holyoke at lead and have shaken up their lineup.
I'm wondering if Alice has a fast first rock because she has put that in the house every single time. And then the second guard she plays, woo, this is a huge miss, which is so uncharacteristic.
You can actually hear the whole crowd. You can tell what sheet the crowd is looking at.
Yeah, wow. You don't see that very often.
No, you don't. But those are the kind of shots that Team Duncan, Team Hickey, as Laura Hickey is skipping, is going to need to help them get back into the game.
A long way to go.
But it's a great crowd out here, as we mentioned off the top,
Hard, Cheryl's
for
wrong.
a
Hard.
Friday afternoon.
Hard. Hard, try to get to center. Hard.
That's a characteristic of the top teams. Rachel having a quick conversation down the ice with Lisa, asking her if she wants more ice. Really, they're technicians, so, and sometimes you might have a bit of an off day, or a day where you're throwing it slightly different than you have before, and sometimes it means you adjust the broom, and sometimes it means you adjust your release. So you're certainly not doing a big overhaul in the middle of a competition or middle of a game.
Do you like coming around? Okay. Control.
So the hit is called here, Mary.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mary would like to call a timeout here. Would you like to use your commentator timeout?
Yeah. Is there such thing?
I don't know. Hutch is standing a few feet from us. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
ask if we can put that into play.
Okay, well, stay close. Yep. Hard. 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 Little flop, little flop.
Hit and flop made by Cheryl.
So really that doesn't do much for the Duncan team here by hitting that rock, because it gives Rachel now just the opportunity to peel the guard. If you could have drawn around both of those rocks, you could possibly get something going that way.
We're good. Nice throw. Clean.
Always nice to hear the clean call from your skipper, especially when it comes halfway down the ice. Shot made.
Yeah.
That also, we talked about how they've been playing together for what seems like ever. Actually, Rachel and Emma have been playing together forever.
Mm-hmm.
They know each other so well. They know how each other throws, and they have that comfort level.
No, the second release was a good release.
They've been curling together since the age of 12, Emma and Rachel.
No, it's fine. If we keep it there.
Remember, I was competing against them at their very first Bantam Championship.
Is that right,
Provincial
eh?
Championship, and actually a bit of a funny story. So back then, and you're going to laugh at me using that term, we had the teams listed on the internet, but you didn't know much about them, just the teams that were posted. And you would always have to wait for a couple days after the regional competitions came up to see that. So we go and we look, and we're like, oh, who's this Homan team from Ottawa? We don't recognize them at all. And turns out, I believe that was their very first provincial they ever won.
What year was that?
Oh, gosh. A long time ago?
I got some good stats here on that Homan team.
Yeah, let's go look through those stats. Maybe that'll give a better idea. But yeah, so it's just funny how back then it was, who is this? And now I don't think there's a curler out there who doesn't know who that is.
I've only got the junior highlights for her. 09 and 010, she was the provincial champ and Canadian champ in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I believe she also did.
Did well. That was that Carlton Heights. Yeah. Remember that distinctly. And they were good players back then.
Really?
Just it's the OVCA, the Ottawa Valley Curling Association. That whole area, they have a really lively and booming curling section throughout all levels of competition. And because it's so there's so many teams and so many players, they're kind of like a little microcosm in themselves, and they would play in bonspiels and whatnot. So this was rest of the province's first experience playing against Rachel. So that's how we hadn't seen their team before that. Not to mention that, of course, it was right at the beginning of their curling career.
Yeah.
And that guard not quite hitting the target, so it's wide open. The Emma with an open hit. Also like to see a roll away from that guard.
Emma's a new bride, just got married on New Year's Eve.
Very exciting, the lady's wearing her wedding party.
I was a little surprised that someone that curls that much got married during curling season.
Well, you have exactly about two choices. One is New Year's Eve, pretty much.
Yeah.
And the other one is June or July.
Right.
Really, we're down to very little. I mean, the Curling World Cup is going into May.
Yeah.
And the curling facilities out in Ontario, there's one in Carleton Heights. Oakville has ice. KW Granite has ice starting in August. And then the Saville Centre out in Edmonton, I believe they have ice starting in July, the end of July. So there's only about 1 month of the year that you can fully say there's a break, for at least for Canadian curlers. I've heard of there's a 12-season curling club in California, and they have curling.
Is that in Hollywood? Because I think I'm going to the summer spiel there this year. It's in July. Yeah, the Hollywood Spiel.
I've heard that's a bunch of fun.
That's what I've heard too.
Oh, and we curl? All right, and thank you, Brian Belfry, for bringing us up to speed on when Rachel won her first championship. It was back in 2003.
Okay.
And then they won again in 2004, 2005, and 2006. That's what I mean. You go from, who is this team, to, oh, boom, they are one of the best teams in Ontario. Of course, they knew it, just the rest of the province didn't have a clue yet.
Well, that's
but interesting fact, guess who won that in 2002 just before them?
Who?
Holly Nickel, who is now known as Holly
Duncan. Wow.
So some fun facts out there. And Rachel and Emma, of course, waiting that together, and they won that championship with Allison Kurviazik, sister of Cheryl.
And Lynn, who's
Lynn,
also
of course.
here. Yeah.
Yes. And Nikki Johnston was their lead for the first three.
What was that? Okay. She'd maybe come around, maybe go something like that. Or do we know this outturn better to do that? Yeah, you can just roll on more if we go the in. There with control. I think it'll come up. Okay.
This is Rachel's first rock of the fifth end. Again, this team not laying off the gas pedal here. They're keeping their eyes on the prize. Had a bit of a discussion on where they would like to leave this rock.
Not the worst thing. Yeah. Keep it there.
Open hit for Rachel Homan on her first rock of the fifth.
Yep. Yep, right over.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, I like throwing normal.
Rachel has won this provincial championship 3 times, 2011, 13, and 17.
No, I don't think so.
She's won the Canadians 2013, 2014, and 2017. Yeah. One World Championship title in 2017. She got the silver in 2014, the bronze in 2013. Grand Slams, 10 to her record now, 3 in this particular season.
We'll make contact and stick around. So last rock of the 5th end coming right up. Team Homan looking to blank and retain a 4-2 lead going into the break.
Right where you let go and you can make it track a little. Yeah. Just through. We can keep it there.
Last rock, 5th end. Not brush laid to it yet, but they will make contact, and that will be a blank by Team Homan.
So after 5 ends of play here, we got a score of 4-2 for Team Homan. We'll have more curling coming your way right after the 5th end break.
Why is curling such a passion for Canadian farmers? We think we know. In farming and curling, the idea is the same. It's about friends and family, teamwork, using the right tools, and getting it done under pressure. That's why New Holland and Pioneer Hybrid are proud to support Curling Canada, helping to grow the game we love. From your team at New Holland and Pioneer Hybrid, here's to success in the field and fun in the rink.
Every day you go new places. A small change in how you do things, or moving your things to a whole new town, or many things to many towns, all at once. No matter how small the move, it can be a big leap from where you are now. You've got it in you to go new places. So do we. We go there every day. We're here to help you move to places on the map, in the mind, in the heart, or all three.
Go new places with AMJ Campbell. Contact us at 888-AMJ-MOVE or amjcampbell.com.
I believe hard work and honest sweat are the building blocks of a person's character.
I believe farming nurtures the close family ties that make life rich in ways money can't buy.
I believe that true happiness comes from watching your crops ripen in the field, your children grow tall in the sun, your whole family feel the pride that springs from their shared experience.
I believe in farming because it makes all this possible. Long before the snow begins to melt, planning for the seeding season is underway. Start seeding off strong by using the right drill for the job. New Holland's P2082 disc drill precisely and consistently places seed and fertilizer for rapid nutrient uptake, and it does it all in one pass. Experience equal and even emergence through the innovation of New Holland. To learn more, visit your local New Holland dealer.
Here we are with Rachel Homan, skip of Team Homan. Rach, how's your week going?
It's going good so far.
Still, eh?
We'll see. We have to play well and hopefully 3 more games.
Yeah, hopefully 3 more games. This time last year, you were away at the Olympics. I feel like we already asked Emma this question, but what's it like to be back in the provincials trying to compete to go and defend a national title that you never really lost?
I mean, it's exciting to be competing for your province. We want to wear those Ontario colors again and represent Ontario as best as we can at the Scotties, so hopefully we can make it back.
And you're not playing this weekend. Going to put you on a spot. Prediction for the Skins game this weekend. Who do you think is going to win the men's? We don't want you to talk about your competition, the ladies. You get Cooey, Carruthers, Botcher, and Gushu.
Oh, that's a tough one. They're all playing really well right now, actually. So
that's a cop-out. Give me a name.
I think whoever wins the skins isn't going to win Alberta.
Wow, there's a prediction there. Cooey or Botcher is going to win the skins. The other one's going to the Brier. Thank you, Rachel. All the best this week.
Thank you.
And welcome back to Draw 15 of the Women's Scotties Tournament of Hearts Ontario Championship, brought to you by Curl On and Title Sports Live. I'm Mary Chilvers along with Danielle Inglis. And if you're just joining us, we have a score of 4-2, Homan over Duncan. Homan has the hammer here in the 6th end.
And many other big games out here on the ice today, Mary. We're keeping track of them, and we'll give you an update now. So starting over on sheet A, it is Team Ald, Team Brandwood, sitting at 6-3, Team Ald over Team Brandwood. That game, no playoff implications. Both of them are out of it. But next door, where a lot of eyes are on, this is a do-or-die game between Team Harrison and Team Tippin, with the winner having a shot still at playoffs, potential tiebreaker situation, but the loser of this game will be out. And it is Team Tippin who jumped out to an early 4-0 lead after 3. Team Harrison taking a deuce with the hammer in end 4 and then stealing one in end 5 to close the gap. But it is Team Tippin with a 4-3 lead and the hammer going into end 6. Team Murphy and Team Horton are competing down on sheet D. It's been a series of single steals by Team Murphy, and they lead 4-1 after 5.
A 3, yeah.
Team Durrell is still in the mix here. However, Team Ballston, playing spoiler, currently up 6-3 over Team Durrell. So a loss here by Team Durrell would put them out. And back on our feature sheet, of course, Team Homan up 4-2 over Team Duncan. Now, if you're just joining us on the broadcast, you'll notice a slightly different lineup for Team Duncan. Holly is currently 6 months pregnant and was just experiencing a bit of pain, went into the doctor to have it checked out just to make sure all is okay, but was unfortunately not able to make the game due to that. We're hoping all is well there, and so for right now, they've rejigged their lineup. It is Laura Hickey at skip, Karen Sagel-Weissing, Cheryl Krviazik at second, and they brought in the under-21 Ontario Women's Provincial Champion, Alice Holyoke, also known as Grace Holyoke's younger sister. Grace plays for Team Murphy, and that's why Alice was here. She was simply in the crowd. I got plucked out of the crowd to jump on the ice into the big show.
Good experience for her, especially being on the sheet that's being streamed and playing against the Homan team. Got a little mistake there out of Lisa Weigel.
Like that? No! Or do you like the draw? Okay.
Have the draw called. Some great ice conditions out here. Really fast, lots of curl. Cheryl Kurviazik asking to bury one in behind their guard in top 4.
Okay. Line's tight. Hard for line. Hard line. Right, hard. Hard. Hard, try and tuck around it. Hard, try to get past.
So we'll end up as a guard. Unfortunately, where they left it is a pretty good positioning for a double peel. Playing the 5-rock roll, and it's now available to hit. We have an interesting question on Twitter here, Mary.
Okay.
Which Ontario club would be best to visit if you're really, really bad at curling?
Visit or
visit.
Join.
We'll go with visit. This Bo's from the States.
Roll it big, yeah.
I don't think we have an answer for that, do we?
If you're really, really bad, I think if you really want to have a good time, depends on depends on where you're coming in Canada. But
Yeah.
I always say there's a great vibes going on at the Ottawa Curling Club. You walk in there, there's always tons of people around, sitting at tables, chatting, having a good time. If you're in the Toronto area, the Royal Canadian Curling Club, also similar vibe. Got a bit of a younger demographic there as well.
Karen's rock. Yeah, Karen. Hard, Karen.
Before Joanne came on this team, of course, she played out of Alberta, and she did play in the 2014 Scotties representing Alberta. She was with Val Sweeting at that time. And then she's been with Rachel. She was in the 2015 and 17 Scotties with Rachel.
Please. Hard. Nice, sweet.
Big scrub, and they get the jam at the back, and it looks like it's still on. Yeah, a bit of a mistake there by Joanne. She really needs to come up to nose and avoid that jam. But still, it's Team Homan with the hammer right now, and it's pretty open so far for them. So not the end of the world. But now, because there is a guard up, Laura's calling for the come around to take advantage of that guard.
Okay. Lots of line. Whoa. Lots of line. Whoa. Cheryl's rock. Starting to go. Hard, Cheryl. Okay. Yep. Hard, Cheryl. Whoa.
Buried, but popped out the other side.
Huck! If we hit your blue, we'll hit it in.
It's a good point by Rachel. She's going to play hack on this, but if they hit their own blue one, they will promote it into the house.
Clean. Close, clean it. Yep, yes.
Nice weight control and great brush. the jam at the back, but they will sit 1 and 2.
They're 1-2.
Now where that rock was left, it's because it's just behind by the tee line there. Can snuggle up to this if they can get a rock in a really good position. Could be a potential force.
Okay. Gotta go. Lots of line. No line. No line. Nothing yet. No line yet.
I had the weight, but just missed the line, Mary.
Yeah. Think like a solid hack.
I think Rachel's going to want to throw hack weight here, Danielle, but roll away from this area. She doesn't want to leave a pocket in there.
Bring the sweepers in early. Big scrub to get it by. And it will just kiss off. And blow by it, it is Team Duncan sitting shot.
Yeah, I think we just have to output that. Like I think, like here. Yeah, just touching it. So mine will kill. Yeah, that's true. I gave you a little less. Yeah.
So they're currently calling a rock top 8.
I want to count the one on the side. So kind of just touching 8 foot.
Sort of acting as a guard in this case, Mary.
Yeah, because we know what shot Rachel's potentially going to throw, and it's going to be a run back of some sort.
So probably feel like my 15, 20. 10, 15.
Going for top 8 here around this corner guard.
Just six.
Sweepers picking this one up right out of the hand.
Take a look. Whoa.
Need this to bend.
Can we freeze onto it then?
It's actually pretty good, I think.
Pretty close. They would have liked that to curl up a hair. Might be edge on edge.
You see air?
Yeah, so there's a bit of air is what Lisa's indicating from the hack. It's, as you mentioned, Mary, still pretty good. It's making them think right now.
Yeah. See, you know, that's the name of the game, Danielle, is you got to just get rocks in play against these really good teams. And, you know, we saw Emma just tick on a guard. It'll happen.
And there's a great look at how the situation is. There's just a bit of air, so she needs to pair the guard in order to make this double and avoid a jam on her back blue.
Straight through, I think. I'm just gonna hold it.
Rachel Homan with her first rock of N6, playing a double.
Yep. Whoa! Off. Hard!
that off, and it just curled up on them at the end.
Yeah, they had that. I was a little surprised, Danielle, that wrecked.
Out of her hand, it almost looked tight, but of course she puts it back and gives tons of rotation. So I think they were thinking it would back up there, but that's a spot on the ice where it's been known to go a bit, even with some weight. So just caught them a hair. It was a pretty precise shot they had to throw too.
It was, yeah. Now, speaking of precise, this one is as well.
So they're talking about throwing a guard,
Calling a
but they are going to call timeout. Discuss this.
She throws quiet. Yeah, I guess, yeah. Well, then do we want to go here? Come in there? Yeah.
I don't know. Or you come this way. You can't block both. You just threw this.
Yeah. I don't know if I like that.
No.
What if we draw this way? Do you like that?
Yeah, if you know where to put the broom, I like it.
That's true.
I guess you could be a little bit heavy and bump it first base, right?
Yeah. Pardon? I guess I don't, yeah. With like board weight, do you think? With like, yeah. Okay, I guess like maybe board weight. I like board with this, yeah. Board weight, yeah. I do, yeah. Maybe just a touch more.
So it looks like they've elected to play the board weight, tap and roll. Many different options discussed, including potentially just freezing on that, though the comment was made by Cheryl. She likes the shot as long as you know the broom to give and the speed of the ice, and the response from Laura was, oh yeah, that's true. So I think they didn't quite know that, so they're going to play the shot they know, and that's going to be a board weight hit, the hair of a flop.
Whoa, whoa. Hard! Hard! Hard!
Almost curled up to be a perfect shot, but still now it will be Team Homan with their last facing a couple Duncan stones.
You can just give them one. If it comes up, like, we'll sit for a second. If you don't catch this. Yeah. So I brought this to our normal then, right? Yeah. No, I think you can throw it. Okay. I just think I roll up if I miss it with 7/8. It's a steal of 2. Okay.
And they will be playing the double. This is a big shot here, Mary.
It is.
Should fill up a little.
Because there's a potential for a steal for Team Duncan, even of 2 if Team Homan is wide. So a big shot for Rachel. 6 then, last rock.
Yep.
Hard!
That'll be a steal of 1 for Team Duncan. Team Homan leading 4-3 with the hammer going into N7. And we will take a look at our other sheets out here this afternoon. We have Team Ald leading Team Brandwood 6-3. In a do-or-die game, loser is out of the competition between Harrison and Tippin. It is now tied up 4-all, playing the 7th. Team Murphy leading Team Horton 4-1 after 5 ends. And it will be a 6-5 lead for Team Ballston over Team Durrell. Team Ballston looking to play spoiler. Team Durrell needs a win here to stay in the competition. We had a question from some viewers asking where's Holly and why do we have a bit of a different lineup, and the answer is that Holly is 6 months pregnant right now, is experiencing a bit of pain, so she went to the doctor and is just taking care of herself and her baby right now. So she was not able to join the lineup today, so they've rejigged it. They've also brought in the reigning under-21 champion, Alice Holyoke. She's throwing lead rocks currently for Team Duncan. Another question was, what's the situation looking like now for playoffs and potential tiebreakers? Well, we can tell you that 4 losses puts you out. So Team Horton, Team Ald, Team Brandwood all currently out. Either Team Harrison or Team Tippin will also be out of the playoff picture come the end of this draw. Team Homan with a win here would be clear to the final. A loss here would mean that they drop into a situation with Team Duncan, and if there's lots of moving parts here, and if Team Murphy continues to hold their lead, they would drop into a 3-way tie for first at 5-2, and actually in that situation, in the situation that Team Homan loses this one, you drop into a 4-2 situation for Team Homan, Team Duncan, 5-2, sorry, for Team Homan, Team Duncan, Team Murphy. It would actually be Team Duncan who would go to the final because Team Duncan will have defeated Team Homan and Team Murphy. In the case of a loss by Team Duncan here and a win over by Team Murphy, Team Homan would be going to the final. Team Murphy would be in the semi, and it would be a Team Duncan, Team Harrison tiebreaker for the 3rd place in playoffs. So lots of moving parts here. And we also have some big games coming up tonight on the men's side. The 1-2 game for the men has already been decided. It will be Team McDonald and Team Epping. They're, of course, going to battle tonight. Basically, what they're playing for, Team McDonald, if they win, they have hammer and choice of color. Team Epping, if they win that showdown, that will mean that they have choice of hammer or color. Team Howard is already secured 3rd place, and then it will be between... Well, actually, here, if Team Durrell wins, it would be between Team Durrell and Team Thomas, potentially for that 4th spot. Team Thomas playing Team Wretchless. Here to lose, that would force a tiebreaker. Team Durrell, if they lose this one, it's out. And before we even start the night's draw, the men's playoff picture would be clear. Team Thomas would take the 4th spot.
Like board? I don't mind rearranging that, no? Okay. Board.
And so what do you make of this end so far, Mary?
In terms of?
In terms of just what we've been seeing out here, well, my head was buried in some paper telling about all the wonderful tie-breaking playoff implications.
Yeah. Well, it looks like the Hickey team has gotten a little more relaxed here. We're seeing a little more shots being made.
Yep.
But again, Homan has hammer here. She's going to tick this one and roll this hopefully into the rings. So what Laura has to worry about is all those blue ones accumulating. But It's only a 1-point deficit now. It's a little different. The Hickey team is not quite as desperate now, Danielle. They can play a little more defensively.
It's one of the better situations that Team Duncan has found themselves in so far in terms of stealing. They're rock nicely frozen in towards the center of the rings too. You can see how much that rock moved right at the end. Mission accomplished. That's the side that they needed to protect. Another center line guard called. Karen Sagal throwing vice rocks. Sweepers backing off of this one. Only a 5, so that's about top 8.
Okay, we're past the line. Whoa, whoa, we're past it for line. Whoa, we're past the line, whoa. Can you bounce off? Bounce off, yeah.
Oh, and just, I hate to say it, but almost the worst spot you could put it on the ice right now.
Just release that a little.
Because now this allows Rachel to make a play at this.
So Rachel knows she's not getting rid of the one on the button. She wants to get rid of the one on the side, push the one on the button to push her blue one back, roll over, and just rearrange everything in the house. She'll have a few blue rocks in the rings against one lonely yellow.
Hard. Really got to go to touch it. Roll it big, roll it big, roll it big. Whoa, 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 you're good.
Up and over, and as you mentioned, Mary, the blues are piling up.
Yeah, we can do that. Like normal? We have to roll. Normal.
This is a big shot for Karen. They really do need this roll in here.
Which again, rolls are not that easy. If she doesn't make this, Rachel's going to be sitting a pile.
Whoa. Yeah, Cheryl. Cheryl. Hard, Cheryl. Hard, Cheryl. Hard. Hard.
And that was the difference with what Emma did with her first shot too. Even though she didn't remove both the yellows, she unlocked it from the backing. So now this shot is available.
Yeah. It's exactly the plan.
That's why they're arguably the best in the world.
Absolutely.
That's a note to any curlers out there, especially club curlers. If you're not going to make the shot full, you at least want to try to get something out of it. That's why knowing what the plan B of a shot is so important.
Close. Yep. Whoa, whoa. Yep, hard. Really got to go. Roll it big. Roll
And the roll, and they still sit 3. Nicely done by Emma. Also, what was important there is that they lost it off the buttons. So now Laura needing to play a very precise hit and roll.
I think normal. Normal.
Laura has a couple of other options here, Danielle. She's already in big trouble here, and you know, she's facing 3 Homan rocks right now. Hits and rolls are not easy. Maybe it's better just to draw something in here. You could either tap back that one on the 4-foot, or you could come around everything with the in-turn. I mean, she's kind of, you know, in a position where it's all or nothing now, I think. We'll see what happens here.
Cheryl. Hard, Cheryl. Hard, Cheryl. Hard. Oh. Sit.
Will get the roll, but sits second shot in the back of the rings. Did make the double on the 2 in the back, however, so got something out of that one, absolutely. And we'll see that on the replay. Clips back one, rolls over, needs it to sit. It will not sit in time for shot rock. So now Team Homan has the opportunity to draw to lie 2.
Yeah, they're touching the 12. The high 4-2. Okay. Depends where the line is. If it's hanging, we have to go back 8. And if it's curling, top 8. Still pretty quick, eh? Across the center.
Discussion about the weight in this spot. Rachel relies on the knowledge of her front end. For a draw behind the corner, it's to stick around for shot number 1 or 2.
Wait only! Oh, Joe! Whoa!
And by coming back there, that a bit of an out for Laura Hickey. If she can make a great freeze here, she'd be looking at a potential force. Again, it's not necessarily a steal position because the 4-foot is still open for Rachel to throw a draw, and she could just throw a very similar draw to what she just threw, but would be a solid force position. Last rock for Laura Hickey, and then 7.
Sweeper's not liking this so far.
It will bend though. So this line is close.
You don't want to push this too much.
Tap a little?
It's still the alignment on it, especially when you're sitting in the hack, seeing the shot. It doesn't. It looks prettier on the screen right now than it does from the other end.
Just a little bit.
Just a hair too heavy, but this will force Rachel into making a very technical shot, as you can see from this angle, the angle from the hack. Only has a sliver, and the way those rocks are aligned, she would need to hit about half a rock to avoid a jam at the back. I would pick up 2, 3 if she can stick around.
It's already back 8. Yeah. Might be better if they're down the path.
Last rock of the 7th end.
It's good. Yep.
Team Homan playing the tap for 2, potentially 3. Big scrub by Lisa and Joanne. And that will be good for 2. Team Homan extending their lead, now 6-3 over Team Duncan after 7 ends of play. Look out to our other sheets on the ice today. Kathy Auld up 7-3 over Chelsea Brandwood. Both those teams currently out of the competition, playing for pride.
I just really killed you guys, sorry.
We have Team Ballston up 7-3 over Team Durrell. A loss here by Team Durrell would mean that they are out of the competition. Team Ballston currently out of the competition and playing spoiler. And if Team Durrell were to lose this, if the score would stand, the result would stand. It would mean Team Thomas is automatically in the playoffs along with Team Howard, Epping, and McDonald. We're on sheet D. It's Team Murphy up 5-1 over Team Horton. Team Horton facing a pile of Murphy rocks makes the open hit, and it is now 5-2 for Team Murphy. Team Murphy will have the hammer in end 8. The game with arguably some of the biggest implications on the women's side is on sheet B. Team Tippin up 6-4 over Team Harrison. Team Harrison with the hammer in end 8.
And you gotta go.
The winner of this game still has playoff hopes alive. The loser is now
and
out.
Take it. Okay.
I didn't see where Rachel called that first rock, but I'm assuming she called it in the house, so there's a mistake from Lisa.
The question here on Twitter, when did Laura last skip in competition? I'm trying to remember this. Off the top of the broadcast, I was saying that you wouldn't recognize Laura Hickey as a skip. But she did used to skip back in Bantam and Junior. I think it would have been somewhere around the area of 2005, maybe. So it's been a little while, but she's no stranger to competition, that's for sure. And this team is holding their own against arguably the best team in the field.
Absolutely.
Line's great.
But again, to Team Homan's
Switch if
side,
you
they're
can. Switch if you can. No line
they
yet.
haven't had too many mistakes here, and they're keeping the pedal down. And
just letting you know.
I think that not only shows their champions mentality, but it also shows their respect for Team Duncan. They know that there are a bunch of good players on the ice here, and they simply just can't let up.
Tweet from Paul Fusari. Regarding the previous question, I think Elmira Curling is the funnest club around.
Funnest.
Really hard for line.
Well, if anybody's here in the building, they want to go say hi. It's not too far from here.
Hard. 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 Okay. Whoa.
Good scrub by Cheryl and Karen. Got the answer about Laura skipping. She definitely skipped at the 05 Bantam girls, so definitely 05. She might have skipped once in her junior career, though she was playing with Holly for the majority of it.
Clean's good.
Straight peel here for Joanne. Courtney.
Well done. They certainly make that look just so easy, Mary.
They
Halfway
do.
down the ice, hand up. That's good.
Want to guard this side.
So another question on Twitter is, why does the men's side have the page playoff system where the women's has a semi and a final? Well, it comes down to the number of teams in the field. So the women have 8 teams.
Got no line.
And the men have 10. And you can't qualify half your field into playoffs, and therefore that's why the women have only 3. So the top of the round robin goes directly to the final. Second and third place playoff in the semi. Whereas on the men's side, because they have 10, they can have a 4-team playoff. And the reason why it's a page playoff is because that's what you see at the Brier. And so the part of the purpose of the provincial championships is to prepare the team that is going on to the next level for that. And the best way they can do that is by mimicking the format.
Yep. Hard.
Kiss the guard, but
Touch the guard.
got them back there, leaving Team Duncan's rock in the back 8. And Laura's indicating that they are shot rock in the back 8.
Do you want to freeze? Wait, Cheryl, I can't hear you. Do you want to play this? Board weight?
So it looks like they've elected to play a board weight hit. Now they've changed it to hack. They had talked about the freeze. I mean, the freeze might have been a bit of a better situation here, but both teams are on time clocks. Laura was indicating she was having a little bit of trouble hearing what Cheryl was saying. Had to make a quick decision.
Really hard! Whoa, whoa, whoa! Try and move it over. Yep.
That's actually the call I kind of liked. Splitting, if she could have rolled both of them on.
If they could roll them both on.
Mm-hmm.
You okay with this weight out here? We're gonna throw here.
And the nice thing here is that now it forces Rachel to make a play over on the rock that's in the house. So that actually worked out well. And actually, I take back my last statement about the freeze, realizing that Team Duncan had the hammer on that one. For a moment, they didn't. Need a little more junk, but.
Oh, have a coffee, Danielle. It gets a little. It's tough up here, isn't it?
Looking at the rocks all day. I hear the coffee is not bad here. Is that what you said in the last broadcast?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
I don't mind control.
So control weight hit and roll called. Like to see this roll directly behind the corner guard.
Okay, board weight then. Yep. Yes! Whoa! Whoa. Yep.
Get the hit and the roll. It ended up being about hack weight, and they were looking for control, so that curled up on them. But still forcing Team Homan. They're going to be playing the double on the 2 yellow rocks. curled up more than they would have liked. So still Team Duncan with shot rock in the back.
Board or control.
So they have two choices here. They could have come around partially
Control?
buried around there, or play what they're playing right now, which is a hit and roll. Suspect this call is made because they're afraid of leaving that rock there for a short run back later on in the end for Team Homan.
Close. Yep, yep. Hard. Hard. Hard for nose. Hard. Hard. Hard.
And this was the danger with this rock. So now Team Homan can hit and lie 2.
Yeah.
Going for the double, Danielle.
You know what? That also doesn't surprise me
Nope.
because Rachel has always been so confident and
Just keep it off the line.
no secret to anyone, and she likes making the big shots, and she makes them quite often. And this, when she makes them, it's a huge momentum swing and confidence boost to the team. So veteran move, skip Rachel Homan playing the double with her first of the 8.
No, no, no. Other way. Yes, yes, other way.
She makes contact with the back, manages to sit 2, but does not remove the yellow rock.
I like that. Okay. I don't know normal. I think so.
Well, Laura is set up for 2 points here. She can make this double and sit right there.
Play the nose double. Yeah, normal weight. Normal, Karen?
Like, Laura's been playing this game with a lot of confidence as well, which is part of their success so far in this game, keeping relatively toe-to-toe with Team Homan.
Whoa.
This is Laura's first
Whoa.
rock
Whoa.
of the 8th.
Whoa! Whoa! Go, 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 go.
Avoid the jam at the back, touch the rock, leave it in. So Rachel again looking at lining up the double.
Just curl up to nose, eh? It is curling a touch here. Yeah. Keep it there.
So last rock for Rachel Homan. Playing the double.
No, Joe.
Just misses it.
Open draw.
They might just want to have a look here, make sure who shot rock is. Looks like yellow to me.
Looks like yellow from this angle as well.
Yeah, so we'll hit no.
Though actually,
I like control.
and our angle is not perfectly situated over top. These guys can see better, and by this call, they're saying that blue is shot rock, so they need a hit and flop over to pick up their deuce.
Control.
Also need to be careful about the jam situation at the back with the blue rock.
Karen, that goes over top.
Does go over top as long as you roll far enough. So it won't be enough to just flop
Control.
a couple inches over. They're going to need a hit and flop over towards the forfeit line.
Yep. Hard! 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 Hard!
Made the hit and be one for sure.
Yeah, I think just one.
Waiting for the indication.
Yeah, one blue.
Score keeper at the other end was looking for it too, and that will be one. Steal one for Team Homan. Team Duncan trailing Team Homan by 4 points going into N9. Another update for you across our sheets while we're in between ends.
It was paired
Team
with
Mauled
a
up
7
7-5
over
over
curl
Team
two.
Brandwood. Team Murphy up 5-2 over Team Horton. It looks like Team Murphy might have just scored another one, so we'll come back and update you again. Team Durrell closing the gap on Team Ballston. It's now 7-6 for Team Ballston. On our all-important loser out, winner, potential tiebreaker is Team Tippin, Team Harrison.
What is that?
It's going to be a measure, but right now it's Team Tippin up 6-4. We'll go back to sheet D where Team Murphy indeed did pick up a single point. So they will now lead 6-2 going into N9 over Team Horton.
We got room! Lots of room! Lots of room! No, never, never.
Really wanted to keep that one in the top of the house because that could be used potentially by Team Duncan later on in the end. Corner guard called, thrown by Alice Holyoke.
You can't be tight on these inside-out shots like that. I mean, it's useful, but it just starts to curl so early if you get it at all inside that center line early.
Yeah, because it just, you can't manage it with the brooms no matter how much you pound it. You just can't save those ones. You can sweep to curl and finish it, but
They are.
can't hold it.
Really gotta go, guys.
Second opportunity for Lisa to get one into the top of the rings. Well, be in the top, but they would have liked that a bit deeper.
Choose fine, yeah.
Really, even a 1 here, Danielle, is good, eh? Get some separation.
Yeah, I was thinking more of a 1 just based on where that other one was, but maybe they're planning on throwing 3 guards on this side.
Are we around? Okay.
And we have the results of the
Can we rub off?
measurement over on sheet B. It was Team Harrison picking up 2, and they have tied it up again in end 8. So I'll be Team Tippin with the hammer in end 9.
Just gonna do something like this. It's hard to get out of the way. What? I don't mind this. What are you throwing, 8? take it if you want to.
Rachel giving her sweepers a bit of a break. Nicely placed rock by Joanne Courtney.
Do you like kind of back line weight? Okay.
What I like about what Laura's doing here, Mary, is she's not removing any of these blue rocks. She's simply tapping them to the back so that later they can use them to freeze on. So no panic, even though there's 3 Team Homan rocks in the middle, just simply rearranging them.
Hard! Hard!
It did spill open, so Joanne Courtney being asked for a hit and flop. To flop right to where her rock was originally.
Clean. Yep. Hard for any roll.
It will come up to nose, but they will set 4.
Well, she stood real tight and had to set it, so I didn't know if it would run or curl.
Maybe throw hack.
So they're playing a hack weight, hit and roll.
Okay, yep. Yep. Close, yep. Yes. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Do not get the roll, and that will slide right out the back.
Okay.
Rachel would like to continue building up their pile of blue rocks. Emma's being asked for a hit and roll towards the center. One of the things that Rachel's team does really well and is manage their rocks well with brushing.
Yes, they do. Much like, you know, a lot of the top men's teams, actually. They got very good brushing skills and strength.
This is why Laura was calling for some of the rocks just to be tapped to the back, because now they're going to use them to come around that top blue and nestle in right on top.
All right, Danielle, I got an interesting one here.
All right.
Question.
Always love the interesting ones.
This is from Paul. He sent it to the TSL website.
Top 4.
As a curler, I am very familiar with the term to wreck on a guard. But sometimes I hear commentators say someone racked on the guard. I've heard of a shipwreck, but never heard of a shipwreck. What is the origin of this term rack? I think it's made up.
I think that's just almost like wreck versus rack. It's just your accent, maybe?
No, they say rack. And I've actually always wondered that myself, where that came up with.
Well, you were making me bring up Dr. Google right now.
Well, we know what a rack is, but when you're racking a guard,
well, the definition of rack, R-A-C-K, is to cause extreme physical or mental pain.
No.
I'm not.
So I'm thinking it's not the same thing. I think I'm trying to think who always says racked on the guard. I know Joan McCusker does. But I think it goes way back. Someone started it. Instead of saying wrecked on the guard, they say racked on the guard, and it's stuck.
All right, anybody out there in the Twitterverse, if they'd like to provide us with an answer, I'm at Inglis Danielle.
At Mary Chilvers.
Please feel free to tweet at us and let us know your thoughts. And oh, Jerry Gertz on the ball right now. He said rack is a Western Canada thing.
Okay, well that would explain Joan McCusker. Interesting.
Yeah, peel with the intern. Any roll all the way into that's pretty good.
It's like I was just out in Saskatchewan for the New Holland Canadian Juniors, and it reminded me of one of my favorite Saskatchewan terms, a bunny hug for sweatshirt.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh,
so
that's
a hoodie.
cute. That's cute.
Yeah, otherwise
bunny
known
hug.
as a bunny hug. So when they were selling bunny hugs at the souvenir shop,
You really gotta hit it though. I think a third's pretty close.
it made
right?
this Ontario girl smile.
Yeah.
Okay. So half. Okay. Pardon? I don't know with that.
So obviously Rachel knows she wants to hit this rock. They're just discussing what they want to leave for their opposition. Do they want to roll out, which is probably what they want to do here.
Not too sure. Keep it there. Yeah.
And the rocks will go flying right out, leaving not a ton of backing.
Exactly what Rachel wanted. So it
I think we have to come this way.
doesn't leave a lot of options here for Laura.
I just can't see how we can come the other way at it.
Yeah, tough shot coming up here for Laura.
I'll have to
And we have our first final out on the ice. If you had heard that big round of applause, it was Team Ballston playing spoiler over Team Durrell. So what that means now is that our playoffs are set on the men's side, regardless of the outcome tonight. It will be Team McDonald, Team Epping in the 1-2 game. Team Howard in third place, and Team Thomas will take the fourth spot.
This might be a little bit too much ice, do you think? Maybe just a touch less.
This is Laura's first rock of N9, needing to bury in behind the Homan stone in the top of the house.
Well, she was heavy on that one, Danielle, so that's going to give Rachel an opportunity here to block off any kind of shot to the forefoot for Laura.
Well,
Probably going to go maybe top 8 here.
Then that would force Laura into a very wide out turn, which is a spot that we haven't seen yet on this ice.
if we can just bite the fork, she can't nose and be shot. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, gotta be full 8. Even if we're back 8, it's fine. I'm just thinking it's a little sticky. Yeah. think I got to add a couple feet, just to make sure. I was throwing kind of high 14s.
Again, Rachel relies on the input from Lisa and Joanne about the draw weight. Thought might be a hair stickier where they're throwing.
Looks heavy, looks heavy, looks heavy.
This rock is running. The sweeper's really hoping for it to grind. Want to keep this in the top of the rings.
Hard! Hard, guys, keep going.
A great shot by Rachel. Cuts down the scoring area. This will be the last rock of the 9th end.
Good communication.
Laura Hickey throwing 4th stones and needs a full 4, a piece of the button to pick up the single.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to throw. Yeah.
This rock is hanging wide. The sweeper's backing right off. And again, they need to stop biting the button. It will slide through, and that will be handshakes. Team Homan picking up 3 in the 9th to defeat Team Duncan 10-3. And it was, Team Duncan knew it was going to be a battle all the way through. They are missing their skipper right now. Again, we're wishing all the best of luck really to Holly and her unborn baby right now, just in at the doctor's getting things checked up, so we hope all goes well there. But valiant effort from the 4 ladies still on the ice, but Team Homan does pick up the victory and secures first spot.
Yeah, under the circumstances, Duncan team, I thought they did very well, you know, although Homan controlled the game right from the get-go. So that is going to conclude our feature game here today. We are going to shoot over to sheet B here, where we have Harrison and Tippin. We're going to sign off from now. If you could just hang tight, come back in a few minutes, and we can get the at least the 10th end here.
Why is curling such a passion for Canadian farmers? We think we know. In farming and curling, the idea is the same. It's about friends and family, teamwork, using the right tools, and getting it done under pressure. That's why New Holland and Pioneer Hybrid are proud to support Curling Canada, helping to grow the game we love. From your team at New Holland and Pioneer Hybrid, here's to success in the field and fun in the rink.
Every day you go new places. A small change in how you do things, or moving your things to a whole new town, or many things to many towns all at once. No matter how small the move, it can be a big leap from where you are now. You've got it in you to go new places. So do we. We go there every day. We're here to help you move to places on the map, in the mind, in the heart, or all three.
Go new places with AMJ Campbell. Contact us at 888-AMJ-MOVE or amjcampbell.com.
I believe hard work and honest sweat are the building blocks of a person's character.
I believe farming nurtures the close family ties that make life rich in ways money can't buy.
I believe that true happiness comes from watching your crops ripen in the field, your children grow tall in the sun, your whole family feel the pride that springs from their shared experience.
I believe in farming because it makes all this possible. Long before the snow begins to melt, planning for the seeding season is underway. Start seeding off strong by using the right drill for the job. New Holland's P2082 disc drill precisely and consistently places seed and fertilizer for rapid nutrient uptake, and it does it all in one pass. Experience equal and even emergence through the innovation of New Holland. To learn more, visit your local New Holland dealer.
And welcome back to Draw 15 of the Women's Scotties Tournament of Hearts Ontario Championship. We have a final here on our feature sheet with Homan defeating Team Duncan of a score of 10-3. We've now moved over to Sheet B, where we have Team Harrison up against Team Tippin. We have a score of 8-6 for Team Tippin. Harrison has the hammer here in the 10th end.
And again, huge implications on this game. The winner of this will be going into a tiebreaker. The loser will be out of the competition.
Right, so with Duncan losing this game, she's down to 3 losses, and either Harrison or Tippin will stay at 3 losses. We've got Homan that has obviously secured first spot here, and Murphy up 6-3 over Horton here in the 10th end of play. Danielle?
Yeah, they're up 6-3 and they have hammer. So, and based on the rocks that they have in play so far, they're just about at the halfway point. They've got a wide open situation, and I'm not surprised either. Grace Holyoke, who's the lead for Team Murphy, has been just dynamite with her tick shots this season. I'll let you know how that score stands, but we'll turn our attention back to our bonus coverage of curling. Team Harrison needs at least 2 to force an extra end. And 2 very well placed guards by lead Morgan Court. Julie's taking a wander down to have a chat with Megan Ballston. Halfway down the ice. Even though they're up by 2, it's not a comfortable position with this 5 rock.
No, up 2 is not comfortable anymore.
We have a question here. If Tippin wins and Duncan loses, does that mean they play a tiebreaker even though Tippin beat Duncan in the round robin? Quick answer, yes. If you're tied in the standings after the round robin to get into a playoff, you do play a tiebreaker. Now, the team that won during the round robin has a better an advantage in the tiebreaker game. I believe that would mean they would have choice of hammer or color.
After a bit of discussion here with the Tippin team, they're calling a timeout. They're going to get Barry Westman, their coach, out here for consultation. I think he's going to tell them to come around their blues.
Yeah, with this 5 rock rule, you're seeing offense more as a defensive strategy. So by coming around, using that offense, it's really going to challenge Team Harrison to have to deal with those rocks after. Now, the caveat in that is that if you don't make it and you slip to the back of the rings, that's not an ideal situation because Team Harrison could use that potentially later on in the end. So still a pretty precise shot that will have to be made next. I think the other thing they were looking at too was throwing in just another guard. I believe it was one of the indications.
I think maybe if their rock was maybe more towards the button, they might consider that, but I think they might want to get a better one in here.
Oh, I would 100% agree. Looks like she's indicating. Yeah. Okay, there we go. For a second, it looked like she tilted her broom up again. We don't have audio on them because it's bonus curling coverage. But we do know now from Julie's indication that they are talking about top 4, and they would like this to be just top 4, not really any deeper. Big scrub, get it by their top rock, and they will just wick off of it. Their rock in the top, just biting the top 8, is still fully buried. It's fully buried. Team Harrison was initially calling the run back. Lynn is sitting in the hack, rolling down the ice to her skip. And a timeout is being called.
Coach Pete Stutzky will approach the ice.
Oh, he wishes. The conversation up there. I think the two options they're talking about, of course, was the initial run back call. The second one is ignoring that and going around the guard right now. Guards can deal with the middle later. Update for you on the one remaining sheet of ice out here. It's Team Murphy with a 6-3 lead over Team Horton. Team Murphy has the hammer. Team Horton is drawing in to try us at 3. They will not make it for 3, but leave themselves a guard. They're sitting shot 1 right now. And we'll continue to update you as that game progresses. What would your preferred shot here be, Mary?
I think I would come around those corner guards. Just get one in there. This is Second's first rock, I believe. Yeah, so, you know, lots of time to deal with the other rocks, the other tipping rocks here. Get one in there, and then Julie all of a sudden has a bit of a problem.
It appears that they are going to play the run back shot.
They actually aren't, Danielle. She had the ice. It looked like a run back.
Where she was holding it up above. I guess that was just to...
So that she could see the broom.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Tricky. It's hard to tell from our side angle. Again, kudos to the guys at Title Sports Live for bringing this bonus coverage to all the viewers. Again, if you're just joining us, this is not our feature sheet. That had ended with a 10-3 win, Team Homan over Team Duncan. And this is a big game out here. The winner goes into a tiebreaker, most likely against Team Duncan, based on how the Murphy-Horton game is going. And the loser will be out of the competition. So top 4 called by Julie. Horton with trailing by 3 with her last, needed a split and got it. So they are currently sitting 3 in the house. Justin Murphy's last rock of the game. It will be an open hit. And a big open hit here, because if she makes this, they will be guaranteed a spot in the semifinal.
So Team Tippin's rock coming up just a little bit short. Really wanted to get that rock in there, top 4. Jacqueline's going to hit this blue one on the side. There's lots to roll behind.
And you can hear the applause from the crowd. That'll do it. Team Murphy is on to the semifinal. Did not get that roll. As you mentioned, Mary, there was lots to roll under. Rolled under the center, or even rolled big.
I think the first one who gets the good roll wins.
Yeah, you know what? It certainly would put pressure on the opposition, that's for sure. Put some money on that?
Yeah, maybe. I've been losing a lot of bets this week, though.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
And here comes a hit and roll attempt by Megan Balston. It's a hit and the roll.
She wins.
Beautiful shot by Megan. She is buried behind a wall of blue. Again, Team Tippin has an 8-6 lead for Team Harrison. So Team Harrison with the hammer, they do need to find a way to generate their deuce. They have a rock in the back of the rings. Going to have to deal with this alignment of blues up there, and also avoid jamming it on their back rock.
Hard to tell here, but there could be a triple, Danielle, from the top guard that's on the center line into the 2 and into the rings. I'm not sure of the angles, but that would sure clean things up for them. Just what Clancy just pointed to.
Exactly. I guess, and what Jacqueline pointed to second was she was afraid of going for it too hard and potentially running that center line blue back onto the yellow by mistake if they didn't clip that one. But now they're in a world of trouble right now, and they need a big shot to get out of it here. Clancy Grandy with her first rock of the 10th. Big shot, triple called. She removed both the guards and roll to a corner. Not the called shot, but they did get something out of it. Now the pressure's on Team Tippin to place a perfect guard in front of their two in the rings. Again, if you're just joining us, this is the last sheet out on the ice, bonus coverage. Our last women's round robin draw. Winner of this game goes into a tiebreaker against Team Duncan. Cleaning the rock down the sheet. Looks like it's going to over curl. The sweeper's just praying that it stops. And it will over curl, and it appears that it's almost fully open.
She might be able to get just a soft weight double and roll. Even like a normal weight double, Danielle, and roll towards the where their other yellow rock is behind that guard. That could bring 3 into play if she could do that.
It could. What they're also concerned about, they need the roll behind, but also concerned about where they're leaving that blue. But also it could be a dangerous situation for Team Tippin if Team Harrison's able to get that roll right in behind the guards. And that's what they're playing. Clancy Grandy with her second rock of the 10th. Get both rocks moving, leaving the blue rock. Shot over on the side 12. Really want to stick their shooter around there in behind the guard. Or even in that case, Mary, even possibly sweep it to make sure that they at least got shot rock out of it at the end. It's going to be a problem for them, because if Julie can sink this stone into the rings perfectly to top 4, top 8, they're going to be in tough to try to score 2. But then again, it's a big pressure shot on Julie Tippin's first rock of the 10th. Sweeper's just waiting for this, giving it a little clean. We'll stop behind cover. Couple options here for the Harrison team. Could play the tap, as Clancy's indicating. Could also play the freeze. Also looking into the double off the one on the other side. Well, maybe a little difficult based on where that yellow guard is, so not really giving that too much of a glance. It's from the ice here, that might be a bit of a tap shot. What do you think, Mary?
Yeah, she's got, you know what, Danielle, I think she might even be trying to come around I think with that ice, she'd never be able to get to that rock to tap it. And she does have to be shot here after this call, or it's game over. So I think she's actually coming around kind of back 4.
And we're all playing a guessing game here because, of course, this is bonus coverage. We don't have the players mic'd.
Yeah, either that or she's playing the freeze, but you know, has to be shot after this throw.
A huge pressure shot. Jacqueline Harrison, her first in the 10th end. Trailing by 2, needs to be shot. Stone after this rock comes to a rest. Sweepers indicating it's a 7-8. Just T-line, back button. Curling and coming down a weight, and it will not be shot, but frozen directly on top.
She had the perfect weight on that shot. Just a slight over curl.
That was so touchy. You needed the perfect weight and the perfect line. The sweepers, as I mentioned, could hear them yelling 7-8, which is about back 4 area, so they wanted to be cautious about the sweep, knowing they couldn't chap off of it.
Well, Danielle, those blues, are they set up for a double?
I can't tell from this angle.
I think they are.
But I'm going to ask our friends who are behind the sheet to see if they can see. Julie's really taking a good look at this.
Because if that's the case, Julie's got to get another one in here.
And timeout called by Team Tippin. And since my source was not quite at their phone, we'll have Mary take a look at it. And Mary thinks that it is there. Barry Westman out consulting with his team. It's tough right now for Team Tippin to prevent a deuce. What they definitely need to avoid is giving up 3, though. But in the process of trying to avoid 3, they also need to not set up for an easy deuce there. They're talking about coming around in behind to the back 4. That would be perfectly ideal. Again, if they make it, they'd be in a good position, if not fully locked up, the win. But if they ever drop it short and leave some sort of a double off of their shooter and the blue rock in the side 4, that could potentially be an out for Team Harrison. Julie taking some deep breaths in the hack. Big shot, and even questioning herself. Just coming back down to have a look. Megan Paulston taking a look at the time. absolutely.
Why is curling such a passion for Canadian farmers? We think we know. In farming and curling, the idea is the same. It's about friends and family, teamwork, using the right tools, and getting it done under pressure. That's why New Holland and Pioneer Hybrid are proud to support Curling Canada, helping to grow the game we love. From your team at New Holland and Pioneer Hybrid, here's to success in the field and fun in the rink.
Every day you go new places. A small change in how you do things, or moving your things to a whole new town, or many things to many towns all at once. No matter how small the move, it can be a big leap from where you are now. You've got it in you to go new places. So do we. We go there every day. We're here to help you move to places on the map, in the mind, in the heart, or all three.
Go new places with AMJ Campbell. Contact us at 888-AMJ-MOVE or amjcampbell.com.
I believe hard work and honest sweat are the building blocks of a person's character.
I believe farming nurtures the close family ties that make life rich in ways money can't buy.
I believe that true happiness comes from watching your crops ripen in the field, your children grow tall in the sun, your whole family feel the pride that springs from their shared experience.
I believe in farming because it makes all this possible. Long before the snow begins to melt, planning for the seeding season is underway. Start seeding off strong by using the right drill for the job. New Holland's P2082 disc drill precisely and consistently places seed and fertilizer for rapid nutrient uptake, and it does it all in one pass. Experience equal and even emergence through the innovation of New Holland. To learn more, visit your local New Holland dealer.